Welcome, empowered empaths, to the Power of Healing Your Energy show. This show is all about your unconditional love, your light, your intuition, your soul's purpose. And depression and anxiety are a side effect of not living intuitively, not trusting your gut, the lost connections with your higher self and others. Your soul's purpose is here. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Come on in. Welcome to the show. This is episode 21, season 2. I can't believe it. Time is flying by. If you're new to the show, please say hello. If you've been here before, say hello. Let us know where you're from. If this is your first time, you're on the replay. And if you are on the replay, say hello as well. If you have any questions, of course, we are going to answer every single one of them. And my guest today is Valerie Elster, and she is not a stranger to the show. She was actually on the first 5D Love Summit last year, March 2020, sharing her beautiful wisdom. And yeah, she is a galactic shaman. Now you're probably thinking, what is that? I don't understand. Maybe you do. Maybe you're curious about what the Schumann's resonance is. I know I look into it. I don't know about you guys, and the planetary energy, the updates, what's coming up. I mean, I look at all things through, a wide lens, but here is the expert, and I'm going to bring her on. Hello, Valerie.
Thank you, Christina. Hi, everybody. Or Christine, sorry.
It's all good.
I have a friend named Christina. So that was coming in. Thank you for that beautiful intro.
You're so welcome. And I know a few Valeries, but it's spelled V-A-L-A. So I had to be very careful when, making sure your name is spelled properly.
I don't mind either way, by the way.
Wonderful. And I'm coming live from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. And where are you?
I'm in Redondo Beach, California, in Los Angeles County.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. And Lynn is coming in, saying hello.
Hey, Lynn. Hi.
Thanks for being here. Hope all is well in Manitoba. Hopefully,
I forgot you were in BC.
Yeah, 2 months. Well, yeah, it has been 2 months. Gosh.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember you being there. So much has happened.
So much has happened. And I mean, even before the show, we were talking about timelines and such. So maybe, talk a little bit about the work that you do, why you're here, and then we'll dive into the planetary stuff.
Okay. That is a big part of the work that I do. But just going back to your original comment, I started out in the healing space as a Reiki Master Teacher about 15 years ago. So I had started on that journey into this place of, as you so beautifully articulated in the opening about what is this about for me? Why am I here? And the same thing, been in business for years, and then all of a sudden it's just not fulfilling. There has to be more. So that started me on my journey. And about 2011, many of us, including myself, started to get the pull toward the divine feminine, the planetary shifts, what was coming. And so I had this greater awakening in the beginning of 2012. And since then, I've been on this journey of understanding a greater role in this ascension, which is a planetary update, as well as our own ascension, the human ascension, the species themselves. So I do a lot of work in those grids, so to speak, which means that I go on the land and I work with whatever energies are there, whatever needs to happen. And so the Galactic Shaman was a title that was given to me. I didn't name myself that. That was something, a guide came in and said, this is what you do, which makes sense because I mediate conversations between the realms, meaning if it's something, in another dimension, I'm able to connect into that field of energy, translate the information, and then whatever needs to happen, whatever my role is in a healing, it could be an update, a variety of things. So as myself and others say, we just work here. We just show up. Spirit will guide you wherever you need to be. And so it's just really, I was able to tune into that because of my connection with the Akashic records, which, do I have to explain that? Does anyone know what that is?
Just in case.
Okay. So the Akashic records started opening up to me in 2005, and I just knew that it was something that I had already had a remembrance of. And so a lot of this is about remembering who you are on a soul level, why you're here. Why did you choose to come here? What is your role? So the Akashic records is a blueprint, really, for humanity, any species. The planets have records. It's just a blueprint for knowing how to be something. And so we each have our own individual record. And so I started tuning into those fields, as I said, about 15 years ago. Well, it's going to be longer now. It's 2021. Oh, crap. So the ability
you started when you were 10 then?
Basically. I was a wee teenager. So again, just a remembrance and being able to read the records and access those pieces of information. So that's where the name came from, because I started to do a lot of shamanic work, even though, I'm not necessarily trained as a shaman. I started to pull from my own remembrance, which is the subconscious soul remembrance. So.
Yeah. And maybe it's just me, but when I was first starting out, you heard the word shaman, it seemed to be associated with men. Is that, at least for me, that was I seen that a lot, I guess. Was that planned or?
Well, I mean, maybe some women say shamaness, there's so many different names. This really just means a healer, which is also a term. A lot of these terms help people give you an identification. And, I'm not necessarily indigenous in this body, but my soul has a lot of remembrances.
Yes.
Which is really part of the opening these blueprints, these records, right? Your information. What are you here to do? And so 2012 was that year that I started to really receive a onslaught of remembrance that I hadn't had prior, which included a lot of different civilizations, ancient, goddess. It was really the feminine, the power of the feminine started to come through very strongly. So it opened up a lot for many of us,
Yeah.
Right.
And some are it depends. It comes in waves. We talked about that as well. So everybody's on a different, trajectory and timelines and multidimensional. And so maybe talk a little bit about the Schumann's resonance. I just started noticing that probably about 6 months ago. And I'm like, what is that? So I did a little deep diving, but for folks that don't know what that is.
Yeah, so the Schumann it registers electromagnetic and frequencies of Earth. I was aware of it, but for some reason I started to tune in more because a lot of the work I do is, you know, opening up different timelines. When they're timelines, we also have frequency adjustments. And so someone did a really nice overview of it. I should have sent you this picture, which basically gives a really nice breakdown of what the colors mean. And so the big thing for many of us is the white. When you see that really high frequency, that's a 5D energy. And so it's kind of a barometer for people to be able to tune into these, you know, the energy and the light that's coming through. So it gives us a good idea of what's actually happening. Um, and so there are different meanings, there's different colors, black lines, there's gaps in the Schumann, which because I look at timelines, and when we shift timelines, sometimes a black line will show up, which tells me we've shifted. I already know it because I can feel it, and I do a lot of the coding in that way, but it's a 3D, you know, a verifiable, physical, tangible graph for people who might need to see something, right? To understand, oh, there's changes happening and I can feel it in my body. And now that, you know, there's some type of confirmation. So I think it just provides additional confirmation for many to have a greater understanding. But I will send you this graphic. I did not make it, but it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I will upload it. I'll send it to you.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. And I believe you can go online and look as well. Isn't it updated?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's updated. The one that I look at, they're coming from, I think it's over in the Russia.
Russia. Yeah, that's the one that I follow too.
Right? That's the only one that I found. But I can feel that something's coming. So when you see it, you know, they show you the day ahead. But I, we're getting it all the time. So
Yeah.
some people like to say, well, what hour is that? And I'm like, I don't get that
Depends on where
specific.
you are and really, like, what
Yeah,
level are you on? And geez.
exactly. It's and these are light codes, encodements that have been coming in very strongly since 2012. So this journey for a lot of us has been that long. We're going on 9 years
Wow.
of being part of this shift. And we know what's happening because we see it right now. So the energetic shift that many of us have worked on is now, you know, in the physical reality, which is what 2020 was about and what this year is about. Right?
Yes, and I get it. I think that's why I was looking because, long story short, a lot of people know that I had a real disconnect in the left side. So I manifested a blood clot. Now that it's been healed, every time something happens, I get the indication in my left leg right away. But then I like to look because, you know, there's that, well, the human side that's like, And then you look and you're like, oh, come on now. You knew this, but you just had to look.
Yes. We remember those things.
Yeah.
And when you say left side, immediately I see feminine because that's what your receiving side is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also what's been happening. Most of what we're working on has been repairing templates.
Yeah.
Templates are blueprints that we've been operating on for a long time, especially between the masculine and feminine. Because this is probably the biggest aspect of duality in our, you know, in this reality, between those two energies, those polarities or dualities, right? So as we come into the wholeness, which is what I work on those templates, coming into that our multidimensionality, but also coming into an internal union. It is the balance of that feminine masculine. So those are big templates for this, you know, for us to be able to incorporate those. And then what does that look like in day-to-day life? It's one thing to work on the template in an energetic reality, but then what does it look like here, you know, in a day-to-day 3D? So that's what is really what 2021 for me is about, even to some extent 2020, because we had to kind of unhook from the system that was running to be able to implement and, stop, stop and think and listen and intuit. Oh, hey, there's something happening here outside of my day-to-day 3D reality. So that's a lot of what's been happening. And so I see more of the integration of that energetics, those templates, those updated fields of balance and harmony. And we're at a different place in our reality as humans. How are we going to move forward? So,
yes. And
those are questions I ask.
oh yeah, and thank you for bringing this all forward. I don't know if anybody has questions about templates and energy and the planets. Feel free to share and ask away. I do have a watch party on my own page.
Oh,
And
cool.
I'm just acknowledging Graham. Thank you, Graham,
Hi, Graham.
for being here. He says, great conversation. He is my brother in Belfast. So I'm acknowledging him for holding space. Thank you so much for that. Oh, Lynn, I'm jelly. I want to have the ability to do that.
I understand. And you do. You have it. We all have the ability. I've just been, I had the time and space to open this part of my reality. It's been 15 years. And so this is just, it's time and attention and attunement. So it's only because I've been working in the Akashic for so long that I'm able to connect into a number of different, databases and download the information. So everyone has the ability. It's just a matter of, this is a mastery. And that's what a lot of us are doing here, to master these different aspects of our being.
Absolutely. And it's not outside of us.
I do mentor.
I know you do. And
I do mentor.
Talk about that at the end. So if anybody's looking to work with Miss Valerie, definitely. Now, you did send me a graphic about the Galactic updates. So I'm going to bring that up, and maybe you want to just talk a little bit about the timeline.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So I'll just say, these started to come in. More specifically, I started tracking in December. So I did a December one, I did a January one, because I've attuned to the galactic frequency, the cosmic frequencies. This is part of what I work on. So these aren't just things that I'm picking up. I actually work in this field, so that's also part of it. And not just me. There's many of us that work on the galactic timeline. We all have different roles. So when I say galactic integration, it means that we've reached a place of being able to incorporate these energies. So the galactic blueprint that opened up yesterday, and again, that's just a template for what's coming, for our connection to our star family. People are opening up and, they're waking up to who they really are beyond this dimension. And so these are some of the aspects of the multidimensionality. So that just means it's open, it's ready for input, right? It's ready for creation. And so those of us that work in that realm, I kind of put this out just to let people know what's energetically available, what are the windows open. And sometimes I'll kind of see what the planetary, some people do the planetary ones, they'll say, oh, Venus is in Scorpio.
Yes.
That's like not my thing, but if for some reason I'll do look at it. And sometimes there is a resonance with some of the different, pieces. So we all have our own way of, of expressing the information. This is just my piece, but there's definitely a understanding on different levels. And so you might resonate more with the galactic, with the cosmic, with your star family. The knowledge of the ancients. I also do work in the ancient grids. Telos is Shasta, which is the inner earth part. And so because, again, multidimensionally, I'm working in different realms. I'm working in the inner earth. I'm working in the, the surface and also in the different energetic aspects. So this is just a knowledge of the ancients. It's a resonant frequency. And so if you work in the field, especially in the land, this is some of the things that you are coming into. And Telos is an important field. It's very much connected with Uluru, and that is a really important grid point, which is in Australia. And so there is grid connections with some of these ancient sites, as many of you know, right? The sites are all over the world, and they all do kind of communicate with each other, which is what we call the grids, the energetic grids of the planet. Okay. Make sense? Kind of.
Yeah.
And then I do carry the Pleiadian aspect. That's one of my galactic pieces. And so on the 16th, there's an opening of those gates. I just put numbers because that's what came in, those of you who are into the numerology. But the gates mean that gates open and close. So when a gate opens, it brings in information from that, from that, you know, in this case, Pleiadian, right?
Yes.
So if you're Pleiadian or you resonate with that, it's going to be an important day to bring in information. So, so that's that. 223 new galactic cycle. So again, looking at cycles, right? We come back to opening, closing cycles, just like we have cycles on Earth, just like we have cycles in other realities. It's just opening to new energies and a new place in our reality here. And then 228 is Solar Maximus, attunement to solar rays of Sirius. So I have been doing a lot of Sirius stuff. Sirius is very much connected with Earth. We are in the Sirius star system.
Wow.
So, and Sirius, so Sirian and Pleiadian, those are the two biggest, I would say, star families that are on Earth. The most people are here between those two. So again, I'm just kind of tuning in and reading some of the things I work on. I do work with other people that do things similar to me. And so I'll see who's working on what.
Well, yeah. Collaboration,
right?
connection, community.
Totally collaboration. Again, we all have different roles. And so it's clear, it's what's good is what's your role is to have an understanding of what your role is and where you fit. And so I feel like a lot of us have done that. We've connected into, Facebook's been great for connecting. And now I see a lot of people moving into different modalities, different. Yeah, they're leaving, they're doing other things. And for me, it's like, I'm ready to meet on the ground. I want to meet in person. I'm ready for those.
I feel you on
right?
that. Yes.
A lot of us are like, so I feel like that's going to happen more. And it also means we come together with a frequency, because when you're together, there is a resonant frequency in the group. Excuse me. So, we've had time and space to hone in, to get very clear on who we are, what we're doing, and what's coming, and what our role is.
I love it. That's beautiful work. I mean, what you do and soul's purpose, whatever it happens to be, that's why we're here. So, and I honor you and thank you for your work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your work.
I want to talk a little bit about Mercury retrograde, because we kind of talked about that before the show. And how, me starting out, I was like a lot of people, even with the full moon, all freaked out about it and doom and gloom. But we know better. So please share with us your thoughts on Mercury retrograde.
Well, just like any planetary alignment, some people might be more sensitive to it. And it does give us a chance, because we are, on Earth, and it gives us a chance. A lot of the retrogrades are opportunities to revisit, right? To revisit. And so I, will look at, all this stuff's coming back up, but not to get kind of bogged down in it, but to really say, okay, why is this happening? What is this about? So, I monitor what's happening, but for me, it's more of what is the frequency of what's happening?
Mm.
Because really all of these aspects are just frequencies allowing us to revisit. And the clearer you are about what your traumas are, what you're holding emotionally, what you still have yet to resolve, because that's really the work I do in the Akashic records, is the subconscious work. What have you not resolved? Because
Mhm.
unresolved anything will continue to circle. And so, when I see people really affected, it's a way to say, okay, what are you not looking at? um, because the frequency and the energy that is coming into Earth it will push everything to the surface, everything. And even those of us who do the work, I mean, we're still in bodies on Earth. We still have relationships and past life stuff that comes up. So there's still chances to get very clear on what's happening and why, and also looking at the collective experience. We're not just doing it for us individually, it's also collectively. We're in a collective union of sorts, which is what I track in the timelines. What can we hold collectively?
Mm.
Meaning, what is it that we want to see that we're able to say yes to? Because that's when you see the big shifts happen on the planet, is when collectively we decide something. So I do look at all of those and kind of monitor what's happening.
And there's been a lot of things happening collectively, and we have been
A
making
couple.
some headways. And I guess in January and February, there's a lot of rumblings. I guess that would be my word.
Okay,
Shifts.
rumbling's good. Um, actually, I felt February 1st felt like the first day of 2021.
Yeah.
Right. So there was a sense of January was just we were still sorting things out.
Mm.
So if you take away the dates, take away how we, just take it all away. Look at the energy, because that's what I do. Um, and look at again, cycles. So you'll see things come back around, not just in retrograde, but in general, because we operate on cycles, right? So
Yeah.
you'll see situations pop up and then come back around. So this is where, we get to see, okay, well, what is everyone saying? What's everyone doing? So a lot of important aspects are coming up about about everything, about who we are, our reality, what we're willing to tolerate.
Mm, yes. And what we're willing to not tolerate.
We're willing to not tolerate. And so as a species, as
Mm.
we are stepping into our power, this is about empowerment of the whole species. First, we had to have, the feminine had to step into their power. Now we've also had the masculine try, meeting us there. So these are kind of the aspects of, if you don't feel empowered, well, nothing's going to change because you'll just accept whatever you're given, right? So that's a big part of it, is we're stepping into this empowerment that, hey, we're divine beings and this is not our reality, you know? We're on Gaia. Gaia is an Eden planet.
Yes.
We're supposed to be in love and peace and harmony and joy and very high vibrations and frequencies. If we're not there, we know that we're not at 5D or whatever, the energies might be here, but unless they're integrated fully, and this is where you see people operating differently. Some are
Mm.
in joy and harmony. Like I said before we went live, is celebration. A lot of us, there's a celebratory aspect. Now that's in a higher realm, right? But also, I see things in this reality that are so joyful and just living in this bliss. This is part of it, but it is an adjustment in day to day, making sure you're not running the old stuff. So it feels like it's much easier to do that because the distortions, a lot of us have worked on the distortions in the grand scheme, in the collective templates. And so I feel like people that are waking up now that are coming into this reality will have a much easier time.
Yeah, definitely. Probably before you started or when I started, right?
Oh, God, 15 years ago, it's like, what's Reiki? You know, well,
And then you tell them Jesus did it, and people are like, what?
Jesus did it.
Well, come on. Let's think about this.
Yeah, let's keep it simple. He laid hands on people.
That's right. That's right. So,
Yeah.
and when you say coming back, I see it as karmic and loops. We don't want to.
Oh,
We don't want
yeah.
to loop anymore. You know, the only person that likes to do that is the dog chasing the tail analogy. The dog enjoys it.
Yeah. And we'll keep looping, right? Until, again, we'll individually loop. And then more importantly, what is the collective looping? Because that you can track what's happening based on that. Right. And then if you see a new reality pop in, it's like, oh, where'd that come from? And I've been seeing it. When we have two timelines running, which we have two very strong timelines right now, I literally would get two different, very close realities show up in my life. I can tell, I can feel it, and also what I bring in, like from activations. You were saying, I have two. They're a day apart, and they have a similar theme, but they're not exactly the same. So it's almost like I'm holding both to see which one's going to ground, which one wants to come through first.
Interesting. So
It
that
is.
reminds me of Libra and the scales.
Yeah.
When you're doing that.
Yes.
Because someone I follow, he puts astrology to each month, and February is Libra.
Oh, well, that's very interesting. Huh. See, there's I love that. And that's awesome. I love, again, we all have our different databases. I'm such a nerd that we work with.
It's like we get to see the 360-degree perspective of
Yeah.
everyone else's perspective. And then we
Exactly.
can make our collective, decision integration.
And that's where social media has been so powerful, so regardless of what's happening behind the scenes, it's what's happened, it's brought us all to, I mean, look at how much information and what we're able to see in such a short amount of time. So it's really allowed us all to synchronize our signals, which is, again, the collective.
Yeah,
right.
And that Aquarian energy for, the age of
That's
Aquarius,
important.
all the air.
That's a very important piece. And now that all the planets are in Aquarius this month, that's going to tell you, because that's a big flow, right? Aquarius is water. It's a flow, and it's about joy. And so there is a shift. I felt it, even though we're in retrograde. Again, you're looking at whatever's happening in your experience right now. Like, that's the good stuff, whatever it is. And so those are the little pieces we get to look at, and they're an indication of where we're at. What frequency are we holding? You'll see it because whatever's in your experience, does it match where you're at? Does it match your old life? Does it match where you want to be? That's your way. It's a really easy way to understand where you're at, right?
It almost feels like we're in between worlds, or we were, but we're pulling into that new earth that everybody keeps talking about.
Yes, I think that came up because the new earth templates, we're seeing these new masculine templates, feminine templates. There's definitely a shift. I can feel it. Like, so people are showing up in a different way. And so I think 2020 was about, again, refining who you really are. I saw people either drop off or rise. There's no in between. You can't just stay in the middle. You're either going to grow or you're not.
Grow or go. No, sorry.
Grow or go. Yeah, I didn't say that, but well, again, choice. We all have choices. I talked about choice points.
Yes.
I talk about choice points a lot. Choice points mean we have a choice to make, and this is sometimes when the timelines. I usually talk about choice points for timelines because we have a choice. What choice are we going to make? Right, everybody? Are we going to go this way? Are we going to go this way? We're going to go this way. And usually they're just dimensional realities and their frequency. So
Mm.
we might not be able to hold a higher frequency collectively. So what we can hold consistently,
Yes.
that's what comes in. That's what a choice point is. So
Mm-hmm.
we make individual choice points, then we collectively, right? So
Yeah.
this is quantum stuff if you look
Yes.
at it.
Quantum.
Right? It's
I
quantum.
think of Dolores Cannon, bless her heart.
Yes, I resonate with her because her Pleiadian. Uh,
Yes.
that's my main aspect. So I
Mm.
hold a lot of that same kind of
Wow, this is
mystique.
so cool. I honestly, I just
Barbara Hand Cloud too. She's amazing. I feel like I
mm.
got a message once that I was kind of carrying forth what Barbara Hand Cloud had done
Oh
in
wow,
her work with the Pleiadians. Yeah. I was
love
like,
that.
oh, that's cool.
Very cool. All right, guys. I know there's a bunch of you watching. Say hello, and just as I say that, somebody drops off, but that's fine. Sorry, I can't make this stuff up. I could see the stats. And anyways, so what are you experiencing in February? I know it's still early, but do you have questions for Valerie about the planetary energies or the Schumann's resonance or templates, timelines, anything
I
like
answered them all. No, I'm kidding.
that? She will. She goes there. I mean, I'm just blown away. I mean, it's been almost a year since we've connected, but
Yeah.
I, like you say, I feel like we're all on a whole new level.
Yeah.
I can't describe it. I feel like you say, it's a choice point.
Yes. I just talked about this yesterday because, you know, we will come up against those choices. I'm looking for my post. Choice points. Reading you my post on choice points. Um, blueprints, blueprints, blueprints. So I just wrote about it yesterday. Choice points, collective agreements,
Mm,
establishing benchmarks and new points of awareness as we enter into this next galactic wave.
yeah.
Right. So again, whatever we're holding collectively, then it's a signal of, okay, we're ready for what's next. We're ready for the next iteration.
Hmm.
Because this whole, evolution is an over time, right? It's not going to happen overnight. It's been happening for years, and more specifically since 2012.
Yeah.
It just
Wow.
means that we're updating the frequency because Gaia, the planet herself, is already updated. And because we live on her, we are part, right? We're not the only species. Other species are upgrading as well, or they're leaving the planet. Do you notice? One
Yes.
day, right? We'll wake up and a whole species will die. That is evolution of species. So it's part of our natural process here.
It is. It is. And what would you recommend for someone that is, I mean, I already know for me, but if someone is struggling with the energy, what's, I guess, the fastest way to, I don't want to say quickly, but just detoxify, I guess would be the word.
Yeah, just review all the different, aspects of your being. What are you eating? What's your environment like? What are your thoughts like? What are your emotions like? It's the holistic approach, spiritual, physical, mental, emotional. Really, what are those bodies holding? Because whatever's happening in the energetic will step into your physical body. So if the physical body's, struggling, you have to look at the energetics. So, people do fasting or cleanses. I try to get out to the beach every day. I mean,
Mm,
I'm blessed to live near the ocean. So, getting out in nature is easy.
yep.
So the simplest things are energy and nature and mind. What is your mind doing? Being able to quiet the mind and just be, right? Because that's also, we're changing from do, 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 do. We got to be last year because no one can really do anything as much as they used to. So it really, we got moved into really a golden opportunity to just sit
Yep.
and
Definitely.
yeah,
I
right?
love that. Yeah. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. Nature is my go-to
Yeah,
always.
that's us. I mean, we're part of her.
Mm-hmm.
and she's part of us. So it is also a reconnection with her, with nature, with this planet, with the animals. We have lost that, um, which is a lot of what the feminine energy is about. It's not just a woman, it just means the feminine is more, is typically more connected. So
Mm.
in some ways, there's a lot of people who needed to be forced into that connection because they weren't listening, or they were just in the, in a go, 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 which is also a construct designed to keep people trapped.
Yeah.
So those things, again, a lot of that got unhooked last year. And
Mm-hmm.
now we get to pick up the pieces. What do we want? What do we not want?
That's right.
Right? Just like a relationship. What do you want? What is not working? So
Mm-hmm.
collectively, what is not working? We already know a lot of that. How do we want to redesign it?
Love your wisdom, sister.
Oh, thank you, honey. Love
Uh,
your wisdom. Oh, we have a question.
yeah. Well, Lynn is just saying, she says, why do I always have this feeling like I'm on the cusp or edge of something?
I mean, is that a personal, breakthrough? Is that
I'm,
what you mean?
that's what I interpreted.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. We talk about like pushing your boundaries, right? And that's another piece. I know I was on Hani, we were chatting a few weeks ago, and it was all about beliefs. What are your beliefs? Are you challenging your beliefs? She was saying BS, belief system. I'm like, oh God, I love that. She's like,
Yeah,
look at your
that's
BS.
great.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, look at your BS, belief system. What is it? Right? So are you on the cusp of something, a breakthrough? So it's you can be a breakthrough or breakdown. And we've already broken down as a group, as a collective, right? Now we're in the breakthrough, challenging yourself, because ultimately, feeling in a place of oneness or whatever you want to call it, right? Where you're just part of everything is
Mm-hmm.
a feeling. The only reason not to be in that space is the mind and the old stuff. We hold on to so much as a group. So I think it's, about letting go of what you might think is either your own reality or what's working, what's not, right?
Yep. Yep.
We're
And
getting honest with ourselves, aren't we?
absolutely. I just finished watching a video about codependency. That is our biggest
Oh,
addiction.
yeah.
I was like, boom, baby. I love it. And the ego, I think of Lord of the Rings, my precious. No, no more of that. No more.
Well, that's also been just part of our reality of, relying on an outside source, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's also been, you're right, that is a piece of, we're moving from codependence to
Yes.
right? Because interdependence is also what, if you look at the original tribes, we're a giant tribe. We've grown out of these tribal pieces, but we still have the desire to be part of. So I think in some ways we're returning to that, which is community. I mean, look at the community. Look what's happened since, COVID. Everyone's coming together.
Yep.
I'm part of the Buy Nothing group. It's all women, and we're all exchanging stuff. And the support, people are looking for food, they're asking for meals. You got like 20 people like sending pizzas to people. I mean, why that would not have happened. Right? Like,
Yes.
we unfortunately we need some kind of tragedy to get people to go, oh crap, this isn't really important where I live and how much money I have and what I drive. That's meaningless. But you're not going to get there unless you have something else. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's happened.
Yep.
So we're returning to our humanity and our care for each other, right?
Beautifully
As
said.
sister and brother. I say that a lot.
Love it. Dawson,
Hi,
he's
Dawson.
well, never late, I guess, but they're asking about the Schumann's resonance. You'd have to go back to like maybe the
The
first one.
Schumann. I know. I'm going to send you that graph, because again, it measures, like when I had my awakening in 2012. Christine, I was drawing frequency. I
Okay.
would just get out my sketchbook and I would just start drawing stuff and I would label it. It's like, this is 300 hertz. Because I was tuning into the resonant frequency of the planet. That's
Gotcha.
what was happening. And then I started to speak the language. So I speak light language, I speak frequency, I say. So it affects you because it's going to, again, depending on what level of energy is coming in, it will go into your cells and your field. We're electrical beings.
Mm-hmm.
So a high frequency or resonance is going to interfere. It's going to ping you. And based on what you're holding, it will either elevate you or you'll have to release something.
Yeah.
So it creates an opportunity. Again, look at your field. How are you feeling? What's happening? But there
Mm-hmm.
are tons of symptoms, which, it's too many to list. Right? And again, we're you know, we're made of water.
Yes.
We're electric beings.
Mm.
Like we are walking ley lines. I have said that before too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're wondering how you already know you're tuned in. That's why you're asking this question. So
Yeah,
you need to
you
figure
already
out
know.
what is the best way to release or integrate this,
Yeah,
right?
you're either gonna, and it could be both at the same time, right? So if
Okay.
you're holding a lot, again, look at your diet. What are you eating?
Mm.
What are you consuming? What is your environment like? What is your home? Are you in a lot of people that are angry or that are stressed? Like everything is energy. So it's taking stock and really looking at what's happening in your day to day,
Yep.
reviewing everything. Like I live by myself. I mean, I have a child, but I don't have him full time. But I have my space, and this is my sacred space. And so when people come in, they're like, "Oh, wow, this is amazing. This feels like home." I can't, they have to kick them out. They won't leave because I've created a space of frequency for me to be able to do what I do. And so that's really important for me,
Your inner
right?
sanctuary. It's very
Of
important.
course.
Yeah.
This is where I do my work. And so the
Mhm.
clarity for me, so I do whatever I need. I have crystals, I have, sage,
Yeah.
I have
Self-care,
music.
whatever it
Yeah,
is.
whatever self-care. I've got, oils, I've got
Mhm.
drums, it's all frequency. So take stock of the frequency of your being and what's in your surroundings.
Absolutely. I just picked up a little mini xylophone. It's
Oh,
handcrafted.
cute.
I know. And my son has a drum. So we're eventually going to have like some big party here.
Now I'm
Oh,
going
look
to
at
play
that.
it. This was a gift for my son. It's a mini, one of those mini drums.
Oh, the hang drums.
Yep.
Mm. Oh, I love it.
Isn't that cute? It
It-
was a Christmas gift for my son, but I stole it, of course.
There you go.
Isn't that great?
So music, honestly, for me, guys, I don't know about you, but is the quickest way to boom.
Yeah. I have it on usually all day. I only play frequency. I'll do chanting. It's on all, if I'm playing something,
Yeah.
it's or it's, the Kundalini yoga. A lot of those chants are very high vibration. And so you can tune into vibration that will help you. That's the easiest way, really. Shift the environment, shift the frequency of what's coming in. And
Yeah.
I think so many people know this, so then it's a matter of where's your mind? Because what I noticed is if you're in your mind too much, it's usually a little more challenging to hold your frequency. Plus, wherever the collective's at, right?
Mm.
It's easier to get sucked into the collective and they're not necessarily running at the highest frequency. It is changing, however. It's different than it was. But understand that whatever you say yes to on some level, you'll have to run. You'll have to run that energy.
Yeah.
So, mastery is being able to stay in your own space, 0 point coming into your own being without getting triggered and falling down a well and not being able to recover. So it's not about getting triggered. It's how fast you can recover, because
Yeah.
everyone gets triggered. But
Beautiful.
what are you doing with it, right? When you get
Mm.
triggered, what's happening? That's
Yes.
the key.
Yeah. Are you reacting or are you observing and going, I've seen this before?
my
No.
no, no, it's true. And it's funny, I joke because I have a client and her stuff will come through clients and also her employees. Mine are typically through relationships, through men. So it's like I can see what's happening because that's the way. So everyone has their own way they're going to receive. So I look at those patterns and I'm like, okay, and how you respond will then deliver the next reality for you.
Yeah.
So you're in the same stuff if you keep getting the same thing,
There you go. Beautiful.
right? But if you can recognize it and move out of that, then you're able to collapse that reality. That's quantum term, which
Yep.
just means you're releasing the information for something new to show up.
Boom. Lynn's just saying she's adding to the previous comment, developing or coming into existence, but unable to burst through that veil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Breakthrough.
Okay. So again,
Be ping.
yeah. Yeah. So that's telling me, Lynn, that you're, whatever that's about, it's a pattern. You're running a subconscious pattern because that's the loop. When you come up against it, right, you might not be aware of what it is. So this is where the subconscious understanding, or you might be aware, but usually the beliefs, the operating system, and we develop beliefs over time. And then it's a matter of challenging them.
Yes.
Do I still believe that? Is that my belief? Is that my mom's, my family's, my ex's? Like, where is it coming from?
Yep,
So what I found is through my work, a lot of people are running other people's stuff. They're not sure what their own stuff is, So it's being able to pull everything apart and get that clarity, which is kind of clairsentience. I just thought about that, right?
That is.
Clear.
Yes, I'm
deep knowing.
Yes, deep knowings. Yes.
Deep knowing of who you are and why you're doing what you do.
Yeah, she's just saying she's in deep doo-doo and change my reactions. Well,
well, reach out. I mean, I do that work. I do facilitate work in the Akashic, the subconscious work. So if that resonates.
Yeah, that's important.
I do that work. I do that work, Lynn.
You do. I saw what you did there. Oh, man.
Again, having awareness. So conscious awareness of what's happening is most of it.
Yeah.
Just being aware allows you to make a change.
Definitely. Wow. Well, this has been amazing. I so appreciate your energy and your time. And how
My pleasure.
What's the best way for people to reach out if they want to work with you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I have a page, personal, but also a page under Akashic Activations. Or you can go to my website. It's just my full name, ValerieElster.com. And you can schedule a 15-minute consult with me at no charge. Yep. That's a great way to get started. And then I have my offerings there. And I do occasional, like I said, the activations as they come through. And so, those are events that I open up to and do Zoom live stuff. So those happen. But yeah, I do individual work and I do mentoring. People want to work over time.
Yeah.
Depending. So yeah.
Perfect. Yes, Lynn. Lynn's really enjoyed this. Amazing.
Oh, so glad. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I've learned every time. I mean, that's why I do this show, The Power of Healing Your Energy, because that's what I learned. So I want everyone else to find their way.
Beautiful. That's beautifully put.
The more that we connect like this and share, the better we all are collectively, because it's not about me, it's about we.
Yeah, exactly. And we are, again, deciding what we want to see in our reality. So
that's right. That's right.
Yahoo.
All right. I just have a few housekeeping items, guys. So, join us every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. And as well, if you're looking for a safe space to maybe have questions about your soul's purpose, sharing, networking, collaborating, it is free every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific. If you need the link for that, let me know. I will send it out to you as well. I also just released the February energy update, and it's all about flexibility. That was the main theme, flexibility. I'm not too, well, I think I'm pretty good. I've been doing yoga for 3 years, but other than that,
which flexibility are we talking about?
We're still working on it, but yes. So look, have a look out for that. I want to thank Valerie again. Beautiful soul. Love the work that you're doing. And please remember, guys, healing begins where the ego ends. Love you.
Yep.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.